Good morning, students. Welcome back. This video is for class 7, subject social science, and we are studying about geography chapter 3, Our Changing Earth. It is the second lecture of this chapter, and in today's lecture, the topics which are to be covered or discussed are like these. First one is meaning or definition of earthquake. Second, measurements of earthquake. Third one, earthquake waves and works of a river, and in last we will have a discussion on the homework solution of lecture 1 of this chapter. So let's we start today's discussion. Yes students, before starting the today's discussion, first we will have a recapitulations of previous topics in brief. Yes, yesterday we have studied that our earth is constantly changing, and these changes are occurred not only inside the earth but also on the surface also. And the two forces, endogenic forces and exogenic forces, are responsible for these changes. Yes friends, exogenic forces means the forces that act on the surface of the earth, and endogenic forces, the forces that act in the interior of the earth. So understood? And exogenic forces that results or you can say exogenic forces includes depositionals and erosional activities, and endogenic forces includes the activities or that action of earthquakes and volcanoes. About the volcanoes we have studied in our previous yesterday lecture, and now today we will have a discussion on the second endogenic forces, earthquake. Yes friends, earthquake, a sudden and violent trembling or shaking of the earth crust. Actually, the earthquakes are the vibrations which are felt on the surface of the earth. And this trembling or means these vibrations are caused due to the disturbances under the crust. And these disturbances could either be due to the plate colliding or rubbing against each other. And these vibrations produced during an earthquake are also called seismic waves. Yes. Now look there at the diagram. Yesterday I also explained these things that the starting point from where the earthquake occurs, means starting points of the or beginning points of the earthquake is known as focus. It is the origins of the seismic energy, and just above this focus point epicenter is there. Okay, and means epicenter is the point means on the surface of the earth, and it is just above the focus point. Okay beta, and so when the earthquake or when there is a, you can say, vibration is there in the earth during this earthquake activity or actions, so at that time some type of energy is released, and this energy is known as seismic energy. And to measure this seismic energy, one machine is used, instrument is used, which is known as a seismograph. So as I told that during the earthquake, seismic energy is released, and this seismic energy is measured with the seismograph. The earthquake is measured by a machine which is known as seismograph. Understood? And next one is that is Richter scale. The magnitude or intensity of the earthquake is measured on the Richter scale. Yes, what is Richter scale? Actually, it is a measurement instrument, you can say, on which 0 to 9 numbers or datas are there, and this scale is called Richter scale, and it is used to measure the intensity of the earthquake. Means the higher number on the scale, the greater the intensity of the quake, and is the lesser number means the less intensity of the quakes. Means if that at the time of measuring of the earthquake, that if the intensity of the earthquake or the seismic energy is like between 2, 3 or 4, then it means the earthquake is less harmful. This is there. And if the intensity is more, means earthquake measuring 6 or more or above are considered more harmful. This is there. And the instrument, this I told you, the instrument used for measurement of the quakes is called seismograph, and the people who study earthquakes are known as seismologists, and the study of earthquake is called seismology. Understood? Yes. Now earthquake waves. Yes friends, just I told you that during the earthquake some energy is released, and this energy is known as seismic energies. Okay, and so there are the three types of earthquake waves: P waves, S waves and L waves. Now I'll tell you in brief about these waves. P, S, L. Yes, P means primary. Waves or the primary waves are the first kind of body wave, or the body waves travel through the interior of the earth, arriving before the surface waves. Means P waves are they are longitudinal waves, or means you can say they occur spread in the straight directions, and they occurred at the starting point, focus point of the earthquake. Second is S wave. They are known as transverse waves. Okay, and after the primary waves, the next wave which arrive, they are known as S waves or the secondary waves. This body wave is slower than a P wave and can only move through solid rocks. And S waves move rock particles up and down or side to side, perpendicular to the direction of the waves. And second, finally, the surface waves arrive, traveling only through the earth crust. These waves cause most of the shaking of the ground and the resulting destructions. So understood about it, the three waves: first primary, secondary. L waves means surface waves, means the waves of the earthquakes which are faced or which are experience appearance on the earth's surface. So understood? Yes, now I'll show you a diagram in which three types of seismic waves are shown. First is P wave, that is means you can see that they are the longitudinal waves. Secondary waves means in this way, or S wave, this moves rock particles up and down also, or side to side, perpendicular to the direction of waves. And third one is surface waves, which are appearance on the earth crust. Yes, now earthquake preparedness. Yes friends, where to take shelter during an earthquake. Yes, what is this? Actually, safe spot. First point is there, that is safe spot. Under a kitchen counter, table or desk, against or inside corner or wall. Means at the time of earthquake, first means if we are inside the house. If we are outside, then that is very or more safer point. But if we are inside the house, so at that time we should make them to adjust to stand in the corner or near the wall, because there is pillar is there and which are more stronger. And second thing is there that stay away from fireplaces, areas around chimneys, windows that shatter, including mirrors and pictures frames, because there is the more chances of falling down. And second, be prepared and spread awareness amongst your friends and family members and face any disaster confidently. So these are some measures that we should follow during the earthquakes. Now major landforms. Yes friends, actually now we will have a discussion on the second forces, exogenic forces. Just I told you that exogenic forces are the forces which act on the outer, or you can say surface of the earth. Okay, and the landscape is continuously worn away by two processes. And exogenic forces includes two activities or two processes. First one is weathering and next one is erosion. Yes friends, weathering. Actually weathering is related to the weather or phenomena. Actually due to the weather phenomena like due to rain, ice and temperature, due to these reasons the rocks are broken down. Okay, means the weathering is the process of breaking down the rocks into small particles. Understood? That is known as weathering. Means it is the breaking up of the rocks on the earth's surface due to the action of weather agents like rainwater, or high temperature, cold temperature, in this way. Second one is erosion. Yes, it is the wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind, and ice. Yes, friends, what is the difference between weathering and erosion? Yes, in weathering, that there is a process of breaking down the rocks, and these small pieces of the broken rocks, particles, sediments, these all these things are carried by wind and water, and they are carried down from one place and deposited to the other place. This is known as erosion. And when they are deposited to the other place, they are known as the formation. Understood? Weathering and erosion. Weathering, breaking down of rocks, and erosion, that is the wearing away the small particles of the broken rocks from one place to another, and with the agent of water, wind, and ice. So means water and wind, these they carried down the small pieces or particles of the broken rocks from one place and deposited to the another. Now here I have shown you the stages of river. Yes friends, river means running water. And when a river means the complete journey or the course of the river is divided into the three stages. First is the, you can say, upper case, second is the middle, and third one is the lower course. Upper course, middle course, and lower course. You can see in the diagram also. Yes friends, for in the first stage you see that this place is much higher. Actually the place is there from where rivers originate, means from the glaciers in the mountains. So at that time or in this stage the rivers water flow with a great speed and carried down all the particles or broken down the, that means rocks, and carried down all the particles of this broken rocks with it. This is there. And in second stage is the stage or the course where the rivers enters in plain area. After the means the mountains, in this stage the rivers enters in the plain areas, and the third stage is there where the rivers fall into the sea. So understood about the three courses? Yes, I will show you in the next diagram that the three courses of river are there: upper course, middle course, and lower course. Yes, but look the diagram very carefully. In the starting, river source. Yes, what is the source of a river? Originate source of river, glaciers, which are found in the mountains. So when any river originates from the mountains, so the river water or the rivers flow with great speed, and it or the rivers erode the soft rocks, you can say, and in this way they eroded the soft rocks, and after that time they fall down from a high place to a lower place, and in this way they formed waterfalls. Next term which is shown here, that is tributary. What is tributary? Tributary means many other small rivers which join the big river. They are known as its tributaries. Understood? Yes. Next one is marsh. Marsh is low-lying swampy areas. And after that, oxbow lakes, okay, meanders, floodplains, delta, estuaries, river mouth. Yes, delta is the fertile area, triangular shape fertile area where the river deposited its material before falling in the sea. And floodplain, the plain areas means at the time or during the flood the river water that it deposited all its material in the surrounding areas. And as we know that the river carry down alluvial soil, means mixture of soil, silt, sand with it, and it is very fertile and deposited in the plain area, and which form flood plain areas. So understood about? Yes. Now we will have a discussion on work of a river. Yes, I told you that the river passes from three stages: upper course, upper course, middle course, and lower course. And in this way they formed, or that many, you can say, landfall forms. Okay, means bring changes in many landforms. So first is there the river tumbles at the steep angles over very hard rocks or down a steep valley side, it forms a waterfall. Means how waterfall is formed. Yes, means when river that suddenly fallen down from a steep, high or means straight angles or means from very hard rock to a down to a steep valley side, then in this way it forms the waterfall. Understood? Means when river water fallen down from a great height to a low lying area or in the valleys, so in this way waterfall is formed. Next one is the highest waterfall is Ansel Fall in Venezuela in South Africa, and in India the highest waterfall is Jog Fall, which is in Karnataka. Now the second action or work of the river is meanders. Yes friends, just I told you that in the middle course the rivers enter in the plain areas, and plain areas is also not so flat, means somewhere is that high area, somewhere lower area. So in the when river enters in the plain area, it twists, means take the turns and turns forming large bands, and these are known as meanders. You can see in the picture also, when the river flows in the plain areas, it twists or takes turn, and in this way it makes many bands, and these bands are known as meanders. Understood friends? Yes. Next one is there. Next action of the river is formed Oxbow Lake. What is Oxbow Lake? Actually the shape of these lakes are like the bow of an ox. Okay, that's why they are known as Oxbow Lakes. And in due course of time, the meanders loops cut off from the river and forms a cut-off lake, also called an Oxbow Lake. Means when river enters in the plains and they take bend and twist, so at that time they form meanders, and so after passes the times that the river water are eroded the edges of this land surface, and in this way some part of the land is just separated from this running water or the river, and in this way loops are made, and these loops are which are separated from this running water. These loops or these lakes are known as Oxbow Lake because the shape of these lakes are like the bow of an ox. Next one is levees. Yes, as it floods, it deposits layer of fine soil and other material called sediments along its bank, and this leads to the formation of flat, fertile floodplain. So the raised bank are called levees. Yes, you can see in the pictures. Miss Beta, at the during the floods, when the rivers are overflow, so at that time, this water, overflow water, it deposited all the materials like sediments on the side of the banks of the rivers, and in this way these things leads to the formation of fertile floodplains because it carried the alluvial soil, and which is very fertile because it is the mixture of salt, silt, clay, particles, everything, and this raised part of this plain areas where there is a great deposit of this material, means where this material is deposited in large amount, so this raised area are known as levees. Understood? Yes, so in this way our today's topic is completed, means the work of a river. We have studied that how a river works and how it brings changes in the land formations. Now today's homework, the first question is, what is erosion? I told you the difference between weathering and erosion, and that is your NCERT question part 3. Second one is there, how are floodplains formed? Yes, this is also NCERT question. So how the floodplains are formed, just I told you during discussion that when during the flood times, when the rivers overflow, then they deposited the carried materials in the plain areas, and this in this way that this material is very fertile because it carried or consists alluvial soil, mixture of sand, silt, everything, and in this way floodplains are formed. What are oxbow lakes? This is also NCERT question. First question, 7th part. And now in these two questions you have to tell the reason कि why it happened. कि why are floodplains fertile? Yes, and second one is building collapse due to earthquake. Understood? And if you face any problem in the answer of these questions, so for that we will have a discussion in our next lecture of the answer of these questions. Okay? Yes. Now the solution of homework of lecture 1. In this the question answer which have been given to you like this. First is there, why do the plates move? Yes, the plates move because of the movement of the molten magma inside the earth. What are exogenic and endogenic forces? Exogenic forces that act in the surface of the earth are called exogenic, and the forces that act in the interior of the earth are called endogenic forces. What do you know about the lithospheric plates? The earth's crust consists of several large and some small rigged irregularly shaped plates that is known as slabs also, which carry continents and the oceanic floors. Define focus and epicenter. Yes, the place in the crust where the movements start is called the focus, and the place on the surface of the earth or above the earth focus point is called epicenter. How do lithospheric plates move? They move around very slowly, just a few millimeters each year. Yes, friends, in this way our today's lecture is completed. Tomorrow we will meet again with the next lecture of this chapter. Thank you.